Imagine using a GPS in your car, right? But it like completely refuses to show you the whole route.
Oh, that sounds incredibly stressful.
Right. There is no final destination and no ETA. You just get turn left in 500 feet and then just a totally blank screen.
Yeah, nobody wants to drive like that.
No, definitely not. But today's deep dive is about exactly that feeling. We're looking at a devotional excerpt titled Day 8, and it's focused on the theme of walking by faith.
It is. And our mission today is to figure out how to navigate those periods of, profound, uncomfortable uncertainty.
Those times when you can literally only see the very next step. So, okay, let's unpack this because that GPS analogy, I think, really gets to the core of it,
What's fascinating here is how that analogy perfectly captures the tension between human nature and the document's main anchor.
which is 2 Corinthians 5.7, right?
Exactly. For we live by faith, not by sight. I mean, psychologically speaking, predictability equals safety for us.
Oh, for sure. We want to see the traffic delays before we even put the car in drive.
Right, our brains actually treat uncertainty as a literal physical threat. But this concept completely flips that. The core pattern here is that faith requires seeing the promise before your eyes ever see the provision.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. I have to push back a little because isn't this just, I don't know, a form of toxic positivity?
How do you mean?
Like, if the bridge is out ahead of you, just slapping on a smile and pretending the difficulty doesn't exist seems totally reckless.
Well, it would be if that were what faith actually meant. But the distinction the text makes is crucial. Faith is not delusion.
So it's not just ignoring the fact that the bridge is out.
No, not at all. It actively rejects the idea of pretending difficulties don't exist. Instead of ignoring reality, it's a calculated shift in who you trust to handle that reality.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you're acknowledging the dark road, but you're actively choosing trust, anchored in the belief that God is never confused or surprised by tomorrow.
So it's less about closing your eyes to the danger and more about changing your anchor in the middle of it.
Precisely. And you see this heavily in the historical example they bring up with Abraham.
Oh, yeah, when he's told to pack up his entire life.
Right. He has to move to a land he's literally never seen. There is no itinerary, no scouting
It's
report.
just a promise. He had to act on that promise before the provision ever materialized.
Exactly. And while moving across the ancient world is extreme, the exact same psychological friction happens to you today in much quieter ways.
Like, what's a good example for someone listening to this podcast right now?
Well, the text brings up modern relationship uncertainties. Think about the agony of waiting for the right person.
Or overanalyzing why a past relationship failed, maybe.
Yeah, or just feeling stuck in a holding pattern while everyone else seems to be moving forward.
And that holding pattern is where the anxiety just gets deafening. You start spiraling into all those what ifs.
It's so easy to do.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, right now? How do we actually stop fear from being louder than faith?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the text outlines a very specific today's action.
Okay, what is it?
You write down one specific anxiety-inducing decision, pair it with a biblical promise, and then read it aloud when the fear returns.
Wait, really? Does just reading a sentence out loud actually stop a panic spiral?
It does, because of how our brains process fear.
Yeah.
When anxiety is just echoing in your head, it amplifies. It feels like absolute truth.
It becomes an echo chamber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But by writing down the specific fear and physically speaking a counter-narrative out loud, you force your brain to externalize the panic.
So you disrupt the cognitive loop.
Yes, it's an active neurological disruption. The life principle here is that faith is a muscle, and it grows stronger each time trust is chosen over fear.
That makes the process sound a lot like building a bridge in the dark, one plank at a time.
That is a great way to put it.
You can't see the other side of the canyon, but every time you lay down a plank, you give yourself solid footing for just the next step.
Exactly. Each time you lay down that plank, you reinforce the habit of trust. You prove to yourself that you can survive the uncertainty.
Which gives you the endurance to wait out the season.
Right, instead of just rushing into a bad decision to relieve the pressure.
That reframes the entire waiting process. Which brings us to the text's closing quote, "Faith does not require you to see the entire journey. It simply asks you to trust the God who leads every step."
It really is a powerful shift in perspective.
It is. So we want to leave you with a final challenge today based on the text's prayer.
Something to really mull over.
Yeah. If you genuinely believed your own understanding was inferior to God's wisdom, how would that fundamentally change the very next step you take today?